Welcome to the Real Estate Show on WGBF AM with your host, Charlie Butler. This is where you'll learn to sell your home quickly and for more money. And now, the host of the Real Estate Show, the guy who guarantees to sell your home or he'll buy it himself, Charlie Butler.
Good Sunday morning, Tri-State. This is the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show, and we're here as we are every Sunday with Evie Barr. Good morning, Evie.
Good morning, Charlie. How are you this Sunday morning?
Well, we're doing great. It's a great Sunday morning, and we're ready to talk real estate for a little while.
Yes, I'm ready to go. How's inventory going?
Well, inventory is still very low, and we're going to be joined by Justin Long from the Charlie Butler team at Keller Williams here in a little bit just to talk about that. But the one of the things I want to talk about, besides on the residential side, with the inventory being, the inventory is probably getting a little better, but here's what's happening, and it's has always happened, and it's very frustrating. And I know it frustrates the buyers even more than it frustrates me.
Sure.
They get out there and they tell us what they want, and we always say they should get pre-approved, but people say, "Hey, I know I'm good for this," and they sound very convincing. Well, okay, we'll make an exception this time and take them out. They look at, for example, a $200,000 house, and we send them to you, and you run their credit and do everything that goes into that and say, well, they can buy up to $150,000. Well, now they've got their heart set on everything in this $200,000 house.
Right.
And so they look at house after house in the 150 range, and they can't find what they want.
Right.
So one of the things I want to talk about was the importance of getting pre-approved before you go out and look at houses.
It is so incredibly important because, as a buyer, you don't want to waste time. You want to make sure that you're looking in the right price range and also the right payment range. For a lot of my borrowers, the payment is so much more important to them than the actual price of the home.
Well, yeah, let's be honest about it. And when we all first bought a home, if the price range we were comfortable with, the payment was way too high, it wouldn't have made any difference.
Right.
Because there's a certain amount we've all got budgeted.
Yes.
For a house payment. So.
Yes. Whenever I start off taking a mortgage application, one of the first questions I ask is, what is the highest purchase price that you are looking at? Because I know that sometimes there might be a little wiggle room that, they're looking at 160, but they're willing to go up to 175. And I always explain my system only, gives me a response to what I tell it. So if you want to stop at 150 purchase price, that's what I'll put in. But if you think you'll go higher, let's go ahead and look higher, so we know what your true range is, and we can always work down from there on a pre-approval. A lot of people do tell me, oh, I don't know, I just want my payment to be $650 a month. So if someone does have a definite payment in mind, then we can work backwards off of there to establish the purchase price. So it's important to know what's the highest that you can buy, what that payment will be monthly. And then it's also so important to get pre-approved, because sometimes things wind up on your credit report that you might not know about. For example, I told a story about a month ago on the radio show that I had a borrower I had pre-approved, and she's getting to where she's ready to do her financing. Well, her credit report's expired. So I said, can I re-pull your credit report just to make sure everything's the same? She said, sure, I've been paying everything on time, haven't gotten any new credit cards. I pull her credit, and her credit score has dropped by like 60 points, I think it was, all because the student loan department was they were showing her past due 90 days on a student loan that she thought was deferred. So little things like that make a difference. Along the lines of a student loan, people think because the payment is deferred that we are not going to take those student loan payments into, account. That's not correct. If you're doing any type of loan except for a VA loan, we do have to include those student loan payments even if they are deferred, because they will come due at some point in time. Now, with a VA loan, if we establish that those payments are deferred, then we can disregard those payments. But the VA loan is the only one we can do that on.
So, but no matter what kind of loan you're getting, the pre-approval is key.
Yes, the pre-approval is very much key. We've got to make sure that credit score is good, that there's nothing on there that needs to be updated, or you don't have a stray collection from a cable company. Let's say those pop up a lot, that, you didn't return the box for your cable. So we might need to get that straightened out. You need to make sure all your ducks are in a row, because I would hate for a buyer to go out, start looking at houses and be like, oh yeah, my credit's great, but not really know what's truly on there.
And things can get on there that, are not yours. I mean, I know something that happened to me several years ago when my dad passed away. The cable TV company, we had the same first name, and I canceled it, but for somehow it didn't get to the right people, so they bill him, and I try to get through them that he's passed away, but it didn't. So pretty soon they're sending me collection letters, and so I had to go through that to be sure that didn't get on my credit.
And I've recently had a borrower who, she lived in an apartment complex. She had whatever cable company. She moved out of the apartment complex. Somebody within the apartment complex stole her identity and wound up getting cable through the same company. Now, my borrower has a collection that she did not know about because she didn't realize that someone had stolen her identity. So little things like that, those are the reasons that you go ahead and you get pre-qualified before you start searching for your new home. One other thing I want to point out is there's different consumer credit score agencies or agencies that watch your credit reports. There's commercials on TV that really don't portray how your credit score truly works. And just because you pull your credit score through someone on the internet and it says your credit score is 740, that doesn't mean whenever I, as a mortgage lender, pull your credit report, I'm going to get the same credit score. The one thing that they don't publicize and a lot of consumers do not realize is there's 30 different credit scoring models out there. And the reason your credit score is being pulled, the risk of why your credit score is being pulled, is going to determine what credit score you get. So I always tell my borrowers, you pulling your credit report through someone on the internet is low risk because you're just checking on it. So your credit score will be a whole lot higher than me pulling it as a mortgage lender, which is a whole lot more high risk for a home than what would be just checking it.
Right. And another thing, I know people many times think after you've approved them, pre-approved them, they find a house, they get their approval, then, and we've talked about this on the show before, here's something not to do. Don't go out and buy a house full of furniture before you close. Don't go out and buy a new car before you close. And they're on and on with those stories, but because Evie, you might want to get into. I've had that happen with clients that bought a house full of furniture through their credit score too low.
Yes.
Because you might get into what you do before the closing.
Prior to closing, we pull your credit one more time just to make sure you haven't gone out, gotten a new car, gotten another house, or ran up credit card debt. Never thought about that,
another house. Too,
yes. Maybe you went and got a second home or a timeshare. True. We go back and pull your credit report again right before closing to make sure that everything is still the same. So if you go to a furniture store and, have the 18 months at no interest, that will affect your credit score.
Because they're going to pull your credit. I know some people don't think, but they're going to pull your credit to make sure that they can give you that furniture for 18 months with no interest.
Yes. And it's going to wind up on your credit report. There's one form that is in our application disclosures that a buyer has to sign at the beginning of the process that says, don't jeopardize your mortgage loan. So don't go get a new credit get a new credit card. Don't buy a new vehicle. Don't buy a new four-wheeler. All of those things are going to affect your credit and could jeopardize your mortgage loan in the end.
And just in case you tuned in late, you're listening to the Charlie Butler Real Estate Show with Evie Barr from Waterstone Mortgage, who has been telling you about pre-approvals. And also, so you get pre-approved. And if you're more comfortable calling a realtor, that's great. Call us first. If you want to talk about houses or talk about the market, whatever, and we'll get you to a qualified professional. We work a lot with Evie. She does. And the one thing that, and I'm not just saying this because she's here, I've told several people this, but Evie, I know, has the best. I mean, I know there's a lot of mortgage brokers out there, a lot of loan officers. Evie's got the best follow-up of anyone that I've ever worked with.
Thank you. Communication is key. Everybody wants to know what's going on. And I know you referred someone to me recently that because of their situation, now was really not the right time for me to pull their credit report. They knew up front that they were past due on credit card debt. Well, I know we aren't going to be able to finance someone. I can't deny taking their application or pulling their credit report. I still gave that as an option, but it was their decision to hold off on it. And, I will try and advise someone as best I can. I'm not a credit counselor. And sometimes there's different avenues that they need to go down first, whether it be correcting their credit, paying off their debts. And sometimes I even direct people to not-for-profit avenues that might be able to help them with budgeting or fixing their credit. So communication is key. So I always try and keep the buyer updated on what's going on in the realtor as well.
So, and when you do want to get pre-approved, call the Charlie Butler team, 430-1708, area code 812. You talk to one of our buyer specialists, Jamie Keller or Mindy Malinsky or Abigail Cole. I was trying to remember everybody. So, but just call. We got a lot of great people. Deanna Herm, but 430-1708. And Evie, how can they get a hold of you?
People can call me at 812-463-3199. They can also go to our website, waterstonemortgage.com. And if they're more comfortable with doing an online application, they can definitely do it from there. And, it will be sent to me for the Evansville area and we'll get you pre-approved. But one thing I do want to say, it doesn't take that long to do a pre-approval. Normally I talk to people 15 to 30 minutes on the phone. It does not have to be face-to-face. It's simple stuff that you normally know off the top of your head. And I always get back to people within 24 hours. So would love to talk to anybody.
That's great. And also, website for the Charlie Butler team is charliebutlerteam.com or butlerteamsales.com. So either one of those will get you to us. Plus, I think there's a myriad of other ones, but those are the two main ones. But speaking of the Charlie Butler team, we're joined by Justin Long this morning from the commercial specialist with the Charlie Butler team. So I'm talking about Charlie Butler like he's a third person.
Yeah.
Good morning, Justin.
Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, Evie.
Good morning.
So, Justin, we've one of the things I know you want to talk about, but we've got a unique problem. I shouldn't call it a problem. It's an opportunity on the team, and because, and as I said, Justin works in commercial. We specialize in multifamily apartment complexes, but we still do other things. But I want you to kind of talk about kind of the struggles we're having right now with inventory and kind of what's going on there.
Well, I mean, it's not really a new trend. I'm sure other real estate brokers will tell you somewhat the similar things, especially residential, and it is carrying over to commercial side as well. As there's not enough inventory on the market to satisfy the buyers we have. We have pages and pages of investors looking to invest in the Evansville area. And being a local, I want to capture as much of that investment and bring it here to Evansville as much as I possibly can. And everyone that we've had come out here visit from California, Florida, Texas, they all love New York.
Just recently,
they love the Evansville area. Every one of them has told me, "Gosh, Evansville is a great place. You can get around very quickly. It's a great place to park some money." And they're actually looking for more opportunities. And like I said, we have pages and pages of people looking for value add opportunities, or they're looking for stuff that's a little more expensive. But there's nothing out there. There's maybe one or two listings on the market right now. And we've had to burn a ton of time calling people, trying to get people to sell, trying to make the case as to why they should put their house on the market. I mean, put their apartment on the market.
And one of the things, so I know there are people out there saying, they're just trying to get us to list our complex, which of course that's part of it because we do have clients for that. But let's talk a little bit about why people come to Evansville. And I know people have said, why are people coming to Evansville? Well, the people that invest in California and Phoenix and Vegas and the Florida area and in Florida, they're not coming to Evansville. They're looking for that 30% increase a year, but they're willing to ride out that 30% decrease when it happens too. The people in Evansville, and I think you see the same thing, Justin, is people that are looking for stability. We either we don't go way up when the market's good. We go up, but we don't go way down when it's bad.
Yeah, in 2008, we only saw about a 4 or 5% decrease in value in property.
Yeah,
as compared to what you said,
the worst market since the Great Recession or Great Depression.
And we're 2 or 3% above where we were, prior to going into 2008. So, we've already recaptured and we're on an upward trajectory at this point. But that's like you hit it right on the nail. Hit the nail right on the head there. People are really looking for that stability, and that's really why they like the Evansville market and the Midwest market so much. Is you park that money here, it's going to have a pretty stable and consistent return without having to ride out those 30% dips and in peaks.
And also, we excuse me. Also, we have uncovered a great financing source that was right under our nose. Was Waterstone's own Derek Danks.
Yes.
And Derek has got several connections for commercial financing that has worked out very well for us. We recently, we put a large apartment complex under contract here in Evansville, and we've probably got, close to 300 inquiries on that?
Easily.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and these are serious, but these people, they want to buy. So Justin and I were in Indianapolis last week. We put a large complex in Anderson, Indiana under contract. We'd have rather done that down here. So if you've got a complex and you're just wondering after you hear this what the value is, give us a call, 812-499-7758. And we can come out. We'll give you a broker's opinion of value. And see if this is if we can get the price. And we're talking about anything from 12 units all the way up to 300 units. Right?
Oh, easily. We got buyers here locally that are looking for that stuff that's maybe even smaller than that, Charlie. 4 to 8 units. We got people all the way up to, like you said, 300 units. Those are the larger funds. The bigger ones are going to be funds out of New York, LA that are looking, like you said, for that more stable income. Because they're gambling with other people's money is what they're doing. So they're not going to want to have a potential downside where they have a 30% loss on that property.
Do you have many buyers that are looking kind of for a combination property where it's going to be a commercial storefront with maybe apartments above?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. FHA actually has quite a few programs that are available for just that sort of. You're going to have to obviously talk to your banker for more information on that. I'm not a lender, but there are programs available that if you wanted to reside above a storefront, there are programs out there where you can buy a 2-story storefront on the first floor, residence on the second floor, and you get those nice urban, that nice urban feel. So downtown Evansville, Main Street, Franklin Street for that matter, has a lot of that type of opportunity where those types of programs would be really good for the local investor, wanting to stay here locally. But nationally, Derek was able to get that deal put together pretty quickly for us on those 2 complexes, and he's able to help people out of the area too, which is really good and has helped us really get a lot of people more interested in Evansville. The problem again is just no inventory. I mean, there's not a better time than now to go ahead and just see what your property is maybe worth, or what trends are kind of looking like for the next year, and kind of have that conversation of maybe it's time for the next chapter of your investment strategy.
And does the condition of the property really matter? I mean, are your investors ready to go in and rehab a property, or are they looking for ones that are in great shape?
We've got it. It's all over the board, Evie, but mainly it's in commercial. They call it value add, which it means exactly what it says, something they can add value to. So they would rather buy something that needs some things. Mm-hmm. Now, depending on the investor, how much that is, we have got a group in Texas that will take complexes where the buildings have been closed down by the city, and bring them back up.
Right.
We had that situation a couple of years ago here in Evansville where they brought one back to life. Most of them, they want, they're buying something that has either needs some work, is structurally sound, but needs some work, or has been mismanaged.
Okay.
And Troy, we've been running into a lot lately, mismanaged properties. So that's another thing for investors that own property here locally. Take a look at your books. If they're not where they should be, give us a call. I mean, we have a lot of relationships with good property managers here locally, and we'd love to get that property back on track and get it stabilized to the point where we could either sell that or it's actually making money for you again. I mean, time and time again, we've seen properties where the utilities are just out of control. The management expenses, the payroll expenses are just, baffling how anyone's making money on these. But so we're more than happy to sit down with you and look at those books and really kind of go over those strategies on how we can get that property back profitable again.
One thing we do want to make clear, your statement is dead on. But one thing we do want to make clear is none of those companies, before we get a bunch of phone calls locally here, are any of the local are owned by any of the local property management companies. These were all companies from out of the area that you mentioned.
Quite right. So these are people who own property outside of the area who either contract with someone here locally or they have their own staff here locally, where they don't have that hands-on day-to-day touch on the management. So, it's really easy for stuff to get slipped under the rug or money to go out elsewhere where it doesn't really need to be. So, like I said, we're more than happy to go through that and get you with someone that is going to actually take care of that property.
So, Justin, besides the things that I hit there, what else? I mean, you talked to a lot of these buyers. What else are we looking for in the property?
Well, the big thing is, like you said, the value add components of these. We just have a ton of people who are just looking for stuff that can be fixed pretty easily. Management can be tweaked a little bit. Payroll can be tweaked a little bit, and all of a sudden turn an underperforming property into a star. And we have a lot of people from out of the area that they're very well experienced in looking at these kinds of value add opportunities. So if your books aren't quite where they need to be, that's okay. We can get it in front of these people, and they still will get excited about it. The big complex we just put on a contract here locally. We put that in front of a lot of them, and they just, of course, they're going to ask you, why is the payroll the way it is, or why are these expenses the way they are? And we simply explain it to them, and they're off to the races. They're going to make those really substantial cash offers or financing offers, and that's where Derek and Waterstone can really come into play, especially for some of these out of town guys.
And I'd just like to clarify, Derek is the one to talk to about the commercial loans.
Yeah.
But if someone has a question regarding that, they can always call our local office.
Right.
And I will gladly and quickly get them in touch with Derek.
And we've talked about this. We're going to try to have Derek on
Yes.
in the next few weeks, and possibly Derek and Vince both, who works on these also. So, I mean,
Which would be great because Vince never comes to Evansville.
Vince can't find his way to Evansville. I had dinner with Vince the other night, and when they brought his car, I think, Vince, that car could drive itself to Evansville. Okay, it doesn't need you. But anyway, but yeah, as far as upcoming guests, just quickly, we've got Trent Sohn coming up from Sohn Auctions, Teresa Catanese.
Yes.
From Keller Williams, who is one of our favorites. Kenny Reinbrecht from Reinbrecht Homes, who is, you see their TV commercials, and they are just everywhere right now. They are doing some amazing things. So, and also, and Derek Danks.
Yes. And possibly Vince Blanchford.
Possibly Vince, but I'd go to Indianapolis to see Vince. So, but I'm not complaining. Him and Derek bought at St. Elmo's that night, so I'm not complaining.
I have a question
Go
real
ahead.
quick,
Yeah.
going back to talking about presenting the one complex that you were just talking about. Was that a situation where they were looking at completely selling it, or were they looking for someone to team up to get their numbers in better shape?
Well, it's a really interesting story on that complex. It was a foreclosure opportunity that we took on, and immediately they gave us their financials, and it was completely mismanaged. And that's unfortunately we had to let that management company go, but in the process saved the asset manager at that point hundreds of thousands of dollars a year just in their payroll.
Right.
And, they're on a track right now. We brought in a great property manager, Foresight, in there to go ahead and take care and get that property back on track. There was also a lot of compliance issues that it was out of compliance on. So, they're in the process of correcting that. And, this is going to be a really good opportunity for the buyer that has this under contract right now.
So if there's someone who currently has a commercial property and it's not going like they want it to,
And that happens a lot.
could they contact Charlie Butler's team, Justin Long, to team up with someone, get them in touch with another investor who might be able to help straighten out the situation?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we work with a lot of people that are looking for either the leg in on these types of things. So either partnership, we could structure partnerships. We could structure new management agreements, those types of things. While we don't actually have a management arm ourselves,
Yes.
we have a lot of really good relationships with local management companies that would be more than happy to take on more projects here locally.
And for someone looking for someone with, whether it be government expertise, affordable housing, expertise in just about student housing, whatever, we do, as Justin said, we also partner with Foresight in Chicago. And they do a great job. I think they're in 30-some states, I think, now that they're managing. And so, they're a great company. If somebody's got a problem, that they can come in, analyze it, and work it out. So, Justin Long, we're running out of time. Any final thoughts here?
Just the biggest one, we've hit it on a number of times. If you're at all thinking about evaluating your investment strategy here in Evansville with some of the property you have, we'd be more than happy to sit down and talk to you how we could possibly liquidate that property fairly quickly and either roll that at 1031 into something else, or really kind of look at how we can get you some more property or get you on that next chapter of your investment strategy here in Evansville.
Justin, how can they reach you?
They can reach me. My cell phone's easiest, 812-453-7534, or my first and last name, Justin Long, at kwcommercial.com.
Thanks, Justin Long.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it. Thank you
Justin.
for having me.
I think we're about Bobby's saying wind it up. Okay, so Evie, any final words?
If anyone needs any residential mortgage help, call me at 812-463-3199.
Real estate, Charlie Butler team, 812-499-7758. This is Charlie Butler with Evie Barr and Justin Long. Have a great Sunday.
You've been listening to The Real Estate Show on WGBF AM with the guy who guarantees to sell your home or he'll buy it himself, Charlie Butler. Join us every week at this time to find out how to sell your home quickly and for more money. For more information, email cbutler@kw.com or visit charliebutlerteam.com.